Hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. How are you doing? Welcome back on today's lesson. And you're still with Mr. Piri. And on today's lesson, we're going to look at networking. So this is the previous lesson. For those of you that you are with us, that attended the previous class, we discussed about the printers, the different types of the printers and the brand. Before that we also discussed about how you can troubleshoot if the computer has the problem with the power supply, the RAM, or maybe the hard drive. Okay, so we said on the power supply, you need to check maybe the problem is with the power supply, and maybe if the problem is with the power supply, how can you know the computer will be going on, or will be shutting off or restarting very often? Then you will be able to tell that the problem is with the power supply. Then if not so, the computer will show a blue death screen, BOS. Then you'll be able to tell that the problem is with the power supply. But we also discussed to say the very problem, it can also be similar to the RAM problems. So number one that can differentiate between the two, for the RAM there is that beeping sound, that is maybe one short beep or two long beep. It will show that it will tell that the problem is with the RAM. But not only that, it also gives the blue death screen as well as shutdown or restarting. Okay, we also discussed that the RAM, it's the temporary storage that when computer shuts down, if you are doing any work, that work won't be saved in the computer. We also talked about the difference between software and the hardware systems. So what is the software and what are the hardwares, of which where we said the software is something that you can only see but you cannot touch or feel it physically. And the examples of the software is the Microsoft apps like Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, settings, the apps in the phone or icons in the computer. Then on the hardware, we talk about the RAM, the processor, the hard drive, the USB cable, the USB flash. All these are one of the examples of the hardware. Okay, so on today's lesson, we are going to look at networking. So not to waste much time, we are going to what is networking. Okay, allow me to change. What is networking? Okay, that's what you're going to look at. So before we can proceed, allow me to explain a bit so that I can give you a clear picture of what we are going to look at or what we are going to discuss on today's lesson. So networking essentials. So a networking, it's a connection that allows two or more devices to have communication. I can give an example of the phone and the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth from another device. So when I switch on my Bluetooth, I want to share the song or pictures to someone, I will choose the networking which I will use to communicate, to transfer files, data, or any information. So if I'm switching on my device, Bluetooth, Then the other device again should also pair it. Once you repair, is going to search the name of the device. If I am using a Samsung phone Note 10, then definitely if that's the name that is appearing on my Bluetooth, my end, and the other end, the device has maybe different name, maybe ITEL or Techno Common 60, meaning it's going to repair or to search Common 60, then mine to appears Samsung Note 10. So by repairing, it means you are making a connection to have a complete communication or connection. It is also part of networking. So you are configuring, repairing two devices to have a communication, to transfer information wirelessly without using the USB cable. Are we together? Yeah. So the other example that I can give you on networking, for instance, I have data in my phone. Now I want to hotspot another phone or device. What am I going to do? I'm going to switch on my hotspot with the data on. Since I'm the one who have the data, it's more like I'm the access point. Then I want to share my data to another phone or another device. It could be a laptop, it could be a tablet, it could be another phone, or any device that requires the internet. Okay, so by switching on my hotspot, it's going to show me the name according to the name that I saved. If I saved maybe a Supreme Institute Network, then we are going to put the password. Maybe the password is CIAST 2026, meaning the other device is going to switch on the Wi-Fi instead of the hotspot. Okay, so the Wi-Fi is going to bring all the available networks. So you're going to target the one that you want to communicate with. For instance, mine is Supreme Institute. Then it's going to appear to the other device. I'll click on the Supreme Institute. Then it's going to request me to put a password. Then I'm going to put CIAST 2026 as the password. Then it's going to connect, meaning two devices, they are using one internet supply, but in two phones or two devices. So like the phones, most of the phones, they can connect up to 8 devices. So meaning one phone can share data up to 8 devices or 8 phones. So it is also a part of networking. Though this type of networking, it is a wireless connection, but it is a networking. Excuse me. Two devices, they are communicating to each other wirelessly. That is networking. There is a connection there, or communication, the same way people will communicate. Okay. So for another example for a wired connection, a wireless and a wired connection, the difference is that a wireless, it does not involve the connectivity of the cables. Just connect wirelessly. Then a wired connection, it involves the wired or cables in order to connect or communicate. For instance, I can get the printer and the USB cable. Then I will get the other end, I'll put it to the printer, and the other end to the laptop. Then I will do the configuration, I'll install the software. After installing the software, to my computer, when I want to print or scan, I'm going to select the name of the printer. For instance, if I'm using a Canon multifunction printer, maybe that is maybe 450C DW, then I'm going to search there on add printer. Then according to the printer number that I have, is going to show that side. Since I've already put a wired connection of a USB cable, definitely I will select the type of the printer that I've connected with, then which I've connected to. Then by doing so, I'm going to put it maybe as a default. Every time when I want to print is the same printer that will be appearing on the wrist. So that is also a part of networking, though it is a wired connection. Okay, so let's get back into detail. Let's get back into the details. So here is where we say what is network. So number one, network is defined as the set of computers and peripherals connected together using a medium, wired or wireless, like I explained. So network is defined as the set of computers and peripherals connected together using a medium, wired or wireless. Okay, so a peripheral, that is can give an example of it's more like the devices in short. Okay, so networking is the concept of joining two or more hosts using shared media like switches, routers, etc. I'll repeat. Networking is the concept of joining two or more hosts using shared media like switches, routers, etc. Okay, like I said, that is the communication that is supposed to be there between two or more devices. It can be either wireless or wired connection or communication. Okay, so connection between them can be a direct connection through a cable or an indirect connection through a switch or router. Okay, I hope you are clear here. I'll repeat, connection between them can be a direct connection through a cable or an indirect connection through a switch or router. Okay, let's proceed. So here is why do I need a network? Why do I need a network? So as an IT technician, it is very essential to understand networking because you are more like a middleman, or maybe let me put it in this way. It's more like you are someone that company or an organization depend on. Okay, the company would buy all the requirements or all the resources in order to have an internet at the organization or an institution. Now you as an IT technician, you need to understand the networking, the connectivity of the network and of the internet, or the network and the devices. Okay, so for instance, if you have a Starlink, or not even a Starlink, or any source of the internet, in order to have the internet in almost every offices, you as an IT technician, you need to come up with the ways how all the computers or the devices in the company get connected to the internet. So on that one, it depends on how the company want it to be. Okay, so here's the thing. Why do I need a network? Network is very important because it is the one that helps us to have a successive communication. Is the one that helps us to have a successive communication. What do I mean? Talk of the internet. You know, nowadays everything that we do, we can send the message via email, we can send maybe the application form via WhatsApp, maybe or through various platforms that you can use to communicate with people. So by doing so, you need a strong connection or strong internet. Okay, so it's one of the advantages of the networking for easy communication. That is the most important part. Another thing is for work for an organization to work efficiently. Okay, is there must be a good communication or good network system. Okay, so let's proceed. Yeah, here, why do I need network? So number one, communicate and collaborate, like I have said. Number two, sharing resources, files, applications, hardware, or an internet connection, etc. Okay, sharing resources, files, application, hardware, internet connection, etc. So like I have said, communication nowadays is dependent on the internet. If you want to share the files, you need to scan the document from a hard copy into a soft copy. Instead of traveling from here in Lusaka or wherever you are, you board a bus, maybe going in Eastern Province, just deliver a single paper. Just before you could reach Ruangwa, or maybe as you are going to Kawe, before you could reach maybe, not Kawe, I mean Kitwe, before you could reach maybe Kawe, then you are told that no, the document that you want to deliver, it needs some changes, please come back. So you have wasted the time, you have wasted the resources, most especially transport. So you find that it's a lot of inconveniences, but you have a good communication and networking. Is you just scan the document from a hard copy into a soft copy, then you send that side. They'll receive it in the form of the soft copy. If they also want to have a hard copy, they can print it out and have a hard copy. Excuse me. If there will be a need of any changes or alterations, they'll still make a phone call using communication. It can be either on WhatsApp, direct phone call, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, UChat. Yeah, so all these sorts of communication is a part of networking. Okay, then number three, connect to domain server to access to information for specified group of people, network and database. Okay, connect to domain server to access to information for specified group of people, network and database. Okay, so like connect to domain, that is now the website. It helps you to link to different websites. If you are dealing online businesses, or you want people to see the product that you have or the services that you offer, you need to have a website, and it needs a connection, a proper networking system. Okay, so number four, share information like documents, net meeting, like the way we do. We always do, like we have a Google Meet where we'll be having a more like a live conference where I'll be teaching. I'll be more like a host. Yeah, so you'll be listening. Where you have a question, you raise a hand, then you ask. Where maybe you want to contribute, you can also say something by turning on the mic. If I want to see you, you can turn on the camera, then you'll be able to see each other. That is a communication under NetMeet. Then you can also send email, Facebook, Twitter. So that is the most important part where you need a network. Okay, it's not only a network for Airtel, MTN, Zamtel and Z Mobile. No, the networking is in various ways. Talking of these service network providers like mobile or telecommunication is also part of the networking. Okay, So I hope here you are clear why you need to have network. Let's proceed, please. So network infrastructure. Network infrastructure. So LAN stand for local area network here. LAN stand for local area network. Excuse me. So please take note of this. There's LAN, WAN, PAN. These things are very important. So you should also know how the connection looks like. No wonder it says network infrastructure. Okay, it's a structure of a network system. So LAN stands for local area network. So what does it mean? A local area network is a small connectivity or network connection. Maybe it can be within a room or within a hall. That is just within that building as a local area network. Then a WAN, that is a wide area network. It's different from a local. Okay, so let's start with the local area network. So local area network are smaller networks, usually for small offices, businesses, schools, and homes. Okay, smaller networks usually for small offices, business, schools, and homes. Okay, then that is the local area network. No wonder it's called local. Okay, it can be small link of few as 2 or more computers. Okay, so this is the example here. Let me say example 1 for LAN, local area network. So as you can see, this one is the server or the access point where the internet is coming from. Like I give an example for connecting the phone, where one phone can host up to 10 phones or 10 devices. For as long as you have enough bundle, then you'll be able to host 10 computers or laptops or desktops. Same applies here. So this one is more like a host, is hosting about 2, 4, 5 laptops. Okay, local area network. That is the connectivity. So the source of the internet, it can maybe from the router, the Starlink, or from the MTN or the Airtel provider. It doesn't matter, for as long as you're going to have a successful LAN connection. Okay, and here is the WAN connection, stand for wide area network. Wide area network. So this one is combines multiple LANs that are geographically separated. So it's combined multiple LANs that are geographically separated. So what do they mean? The combination of LANs, they come up with a wide area network. Okay, so accomplished by connecting the different LANs using wireless technology or services of internet service providers, ISP, okay, such as broadband or fiber, Groby, PLDT, then DITO, then film production, etc. Okay, then there is satellites, links, or Starlinks. Okay, so this one is a big connection compared to, it's a large connection, compared to local area network. Okay, so as you can see the connectivity here, the use of the satellites in order to have maybe a connection, maybe the whole country, the use of satellites, links, Starlinks, it must be connection of one, combination of more LANs. Okay, local area networks. So in order to come up with a wide area networks, then broadband, fiber, global for film production, Yeah, so this is the type of the connection. As you can see from the diagram here, this is more like a word. So this is where a connection is coming from. So everyone will be able to access. It's not within the small business, but you can access this because this one is a satellite that is in the crowd, in the air crowd, where once you set your maybe your Starlink nicely, you'll be able to pick up the connection and deliver the data or the information without any troubles in communication. Okay, so this is the connection. There is a laptop here, there is a phone, there is another laptop, there is something like a printer, there is something like a switch, then there's an iPad, there's something like I don't know what's this, a router again. So it's connected to various things compared to this one. Okay, so these are some of the network infrastructure or network structures. Okay, let's proceed. So here is components of LAN. Components of LAN, local area network. So number one is switch or router. Okay, so a switch or router. A switch is where you can have multiple connectivity or connections. In order, if you have 20 computers, then you can buy a switch that has maybe 21 ports, meaning one port will be receiving data from the internet provider. Then the remaining 20 ports, you connect the printers as well as the computers. Okay, like it's being demonstrated in the picture here. Okay, then a router, there will be a connectivity of a wireless. It can receive maybe a wired cable or a Cat6 or Ethernet cable. Then it will also be able to supply wireless connection like the phone. The phone doesn't need a cable in order to have the internet. It's either you buy bundles direct from your phone or you connect wireless using the Wi-Fi. And where do you link is from the very router here. For the switch is for the wired connection. For the router is for the wireless connection. Okay? I hope we are together. Then number two, cable. Cable, we have Cat6 cable, fiber cables. Yes, all these are USB cables. Okay? So number three, network interface card. Built in PC, laptop, or other network device. So switch, cable. So these are the components of the LAN, local area network. In order to come up with a local area network, these are the components that are required. Okay, let's proceed. So switch. Okay, so a switch, it is central components of a network built into router, or it can be a separate device. So it can be a router or separate device. It expands the number of ports needed in network, interconnects computer in a local network. Like I said, if you can see here, we have how many numbers of the ports? One. Let me change the cursor. Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you have 7 computers that need the internet and you only have one port from the router or the Starlink, so you're going to run one internet, that one cable that has internet, then you connect to this, the very port. Maybe let me say this one is port 1, or maybe this one is port 1. Then this one is going to have the internet as where the internet is coming from. So this D-Link or switch, D-Link is just another name of the switches, but in general we call them switch. Don't be surprised when you see D-Link. Yeah, it's just the brand. Okay. So this very port 1, is going to have the internet, meaning these other ports, they are going to connect the devices. It can be a laptop, it can be a desktop, it can be a printer. So it doesn't matter how many are they, but they all have the internet. It can be a camera, it can also be there. There's no any other problem. If you want, you can also tap another connection here, another switch is going to supply internet. Another one again is going to supply internet. So you find that just one cable that has brought the internet to this switch, it can supply up to 10 switches again, and they all have the internet for as long as the source has enough bundles or enough internet to supply the good number of devices. Okay, that's what it means. No wonder there's this provision of a switch or router. I hope you are clear here. We can proceed. Okay, so here say router, a device that transfers data packets along networks. A device that transfers data packets along networks. Okay, that's a router. Then located at places where 2 or more networks connect. Located at places where 2 or more networks connect. Okay, then assign IP addresses, that is internet protocol. That's what it means when you hear the word IP, internet protocol addresses on the network. Okay, so use protocols to communicate with each other. Configures the best router between any 2 hosts. Okay, so this is just the demonstration that you are seeing here. They are trying to do the configuration. So on the IP addresses, it must matches to the router which you want to configure. So that's where now a configuration or networking focus more on the IP addresses and configuration. So when it comes to a configuration, I will take much time to explain how can you configure and how can you write the IP addresses. But for those that are doing the CCTV installation, they are more familiar to these IP addresses, configurations, as well as the communication of each other with each other. Yeah, but I'll take time to explain. But for now, allow me to explain a bit. So on the IP addresses, for instance, we have 192.168.1.1. So the IP addresses is one that gives us the access to communicate with any other device for as long as it is in the similar or same IP range. Then configurations is where now you configure, you give the IP addresses according to the IP range of the network where you want it to be, or you want to reset it, you put your own password. Those are the configurations now that we are talking about. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so here we have cables. So we have twisted pair cable, we have fiber optic cables. So twisted pair cable comes into in 2 categories. We have Cat 5, which is 100 meters, that is Mbps, that is the speed. Then we have Cat 6, that is 1000 Mbps, that is the speed. Okay, so take note that the twisted pair cables, they come in 2 categories, Cat 6 and Cat 5. let me show you the cables we are talking about. So this is the cable, that is the Cat6 cable. Some of you that you are familiar with this, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so twisted pair cable here uses electrical. Okay, so twisted pair cable uses electrical signals to transfer data. Uses electrical to transfer data. So this is the Cat6 cable, the one they call twisted pair cables. As you can see, they are twisted. So we have orange, white, green, white, brown, white, blue, white. These are the twisted color cable. So on the color code, for those that are dealing with the networking and CCTV installation, they know the color code and how they come up with this cable, a complete cable. Okay, but don't worry, I will also take part to teach you so that you can have the knowledge on how we can make this twisted pair cable using the color code. So number 1, UTP, unshielded twisted pair. Unshielded twisted pair, that's what it means. Then STP, shielded twisted pair, that's what it means. So shielded twisted pair comes with the extra copper blades to insulate data from electrical interferences. Okay, then it's used in factory floors. Then unshielded twisted pair is used mostly in offices. UTP is one that we use. Then in the factories they use shielded. Okay, so you should know the difference. UTP most in the offices, then unshielded or shielded twisted pair in the factory floors. Okay, so twisted pair, this is the twisted pair diagram that is illustrating here. So this is the twisted pair and this is the complete cable. Okay, let's proceed please. So fiber optic cable. So fiber optic cable, so use light signal to transfer data. This one, it uses what? Uses electrical signal, and this one, it uses light signal to transfer data. That's the difference between fiber optic cable and this twisted pair cable. This one uses electrical signal to transfer data, and this one uses light signal to transfer data. Okay, so can carry large information over long distance. It also carry large information over long distance. Okay, so it's a good thing to have optic cable. So this is the picture demonstrating the optic cable here. Okay, some of you that you come across with this, you know what we are talking about here. So this is the type of the fiber optic cable. By the way, there are two. So we have number 1, twisted pair cable, the use of electrical signal to transfer data. Then we have light signal that use the fiber optic cable that uses the light signal to transfer data. Then on the what's this? That is twisted pair cable. We have UTP, that is unshielded twisted pair, that is most used in the offices. Then we have STP, that is shielded twisted pair, most used in the factory floors. Okay, so let's proceed. Common router, there, this. Okay, so let me get you back. Oh, sorry. Okay, so here we have basic home office network setup. Basic home office setup. So this is just the setup, that is for local area network LAN. So we have WARJack, DSL, cable modem. So that's where the internet is coming for, cable modem, then router, the cable modem, then there it's going to the 8-port switch, the network printer. So like I said, network internet maybe, not maybe, from the internet is coming from here as in 1, then it's going to the router here as in 2, router, then it's going to the switch. A switch now is one that is supplying internet to computer 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as to the printers 5. Okay, that is the connection that is here. So you should understand this connectivity. Sometimes you can start with the router where you put the SIM card, maybe for MTN or Airtel, any network, then you purchase bundles, then you connect the Cat6 cable using this cable, the very cable, this one, you connect it to the switch. Then even these computers are not connected wirelessly, they are connected wired using the wire cable, Cat6 cables, to have this kind of the connection. So this one is the basic home office network setup, this there, local area network connectivity. So the main concept that is here is this. Have you seen these computers, PC 1, 2, 3 up to 4, and the printer there? You cannot connect all of them to this router, because most of the routers, they have 3 ports for connectivity, and some they have 2, so it depends, some they have 1. So but the main is for wireless connection. So this router, you can connect wireless. If some of the computers here, they use wireless, but the main reason why there's this D-Link switch here, 8 ports, is to make sure that this switch alone is going to get the internet from the router to 1 port. As you can see, this arrow here is going to put or connect the internet to this switch. Then this switch now has the internet from the router, then it's going to supply to all these computers as well as the printer there. So that is the network printer. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that network internet can start from the router without from the WARJack, or it can start from sorry, what's this? It's going to disturb the class. Okay, so that's what this picture is trying to demonstrate. So for now, I would like to proceed to common Wi-Fi router. So these are just the ports where you are seeing power connector. We have reset button, internet port, where now the internet is coming from is going to reach in this port, connect to this internet port from the very WARJack to a router, or from a Starlink direct. Okay, for now, I think on the next time when we meet, you're going to look at common network fiber connection. So please don't forget to subscribe, to like our YouTube channel, and thank you very much. We are going to meet in the next class. See you, and make sure you study in advance. Love you all.